What's going on, everybody? Bunchman Bok Choy here with another F123 ranked online race for you today. Not a great race, but because I put up my good races, I figured when I don't have great races, I should put that up as well, just to be honest with you all. So, as you can see, we are at Qatar, and just right away from the start of this video, you can see there's already some desync issues with the audio. I think the audio is like a second or two behind. The program that I use has the audio and video file as one file, so I don't really know how to sync them back up right now, so you'll just have to bear with me. This is a problem that happens every once in a while, but I apologize for that in advance. Now, as you can see in one-shot qualifying, we're actually not doing too bad. We are currently P2 right now behind Golden Egg Fryer, who finished about 2/10 ahead of us, so he had a pretty decent pace. Now, I don't have too much experience at this track, but I'm not using that as an excuse, as nobody really has too much experience at this track. So if you see me taking the same corner in third gear and fourth gear on different laps, it's because I really don't know what is the quickest way to take these corners just yet. But we got plopped into this for our first ranked online race in Silver Division, as well as our A safety license. So I think this is pretty much it. No more hand holding through the races for us. So as you can see, we are about 2.5 tenths behind P1, and everybody from P2 to P7 are within 1 second of each other. So pretty tight grid, at least for a ranked online race anyway. So I went into this race thinking it was going to be pretty tough just because the qualifying times were so close together, and yep, I was right. As you can see, P7 is 122.984, and we only did a 122.066. So here we go to the start of the race. Just using a Tom Chow setup with, I think, 2 clicks lower on the wings, both in the front and the back, to try and give myself a little bit more straight line speed. And the tire pressures, I don't think I even messed with the tire pressures. I think they were okay. But right off the start, we get a decent launch, get a little tap from behind from one of the guys that started behind us, and we lose a position right away to NTR Ain here. Having to keep an eye on Julian Torres behind us on the mediums, because even though he was on the mediums, he actually showed pretty decent pace, and I figured once we swapped tires and we went onto the mediums and he went onto the softs, it was going to be pretty hard to keep him behind. So my goal right away was to just extend the gap to him a little bit. Now, I think these guys are using a lot of battery on this first lap, and I don't like to use too much battery on the first lap, but I'm having to do so here to defend from the guy behind and to try and keep up with the guys in front. So we were just pretty much single file racing for the first couple of laps here. We're just going to skip to lap 3 now, and this is where the guy in P2 started making a few mistakes. So I don't know if he's quite out of battery yet. I don't think his light is flashing, but as you can see, he goes a little bit deep in this corner, the corner that we went deep on in the first lap. And we went from 1.2 seconds behind to now within 1 second. And again, he has another moment and cuts the corner there, which brings us even closer. And now we're just kind of lining him up in this final sector to try and get a decent launch out of the last corner and overtake with DRS and battery. And we still have about 65% battery here, which is good. It doesn't look like the guy ahead's battery is flashing, so he should still have at least 10% of battery left in his car, but right now I wasn't too sure. I assume he burned through a bunch of battery on the first couple of laps, and he's probably just a little bit slower now because he doesn't have much to use. Again, he has another moment coming out of the last corner, which makes it even easier for us. Just turn on the ERS and DRS, and we just drive right on by pretty easily and regain P2. Now the guy out in front is about 2 seconds ahead, and that's pretty much where the gap was for the first 4 laps or so. As you can see right now, we're still at about 2.3, 2.4 as we start lap 5. And here we run into our first issue, and that is no ghosting for back markers. As this guy in P14 comes out of the pits, he's going to have cold tires. I thought he was moving out to give us the position, so I take a shallow entry into here, but he's like fighting us through this corner for some reason. I don't really know what's going on. And then it's also seemed like he was using battery to try and keep up with us as well. And here you can see we lost a bunch of time to the guy in P1. We were about 2.5 seconds behind, and now because this guy who gave us another tap in the back, because this guy's like still fighting us for position even though he's a back marker, we are now at about 4.5 seconds behind. So EA and Cody's, I really wish you guys would turn on back markers, because I'm sure you remember the good old days of online racing in 2018, 2019, 2020. Back markers can be a nuisance if they decide they don't want to follow the blue flags here. So we eventually do extend the gap, and then the driver behind pitted and the leader pitted on the lap previous to this, so we jump in for our pit stop now. And I think the back marker must have gotten in the way of Julian Torres as well, because he was only about 2 seconds behind us, 2.5 seconds behind, but as we come into the pit lane, he is about 6 seconds behind. So yeah, I hope Cody's does turn on ghosting for back markers, because relying on people to just listen to the blue flags and move out of the way is never going to happen. And there's plenty of videos on F1 2018 through F1 2020, actually even probably further back than that, that prove that they don't listen to the blue flags. So now we come out of the pits and we are still in P2, cold tires. And we run into another issue here. I don't know if it's just because connection issues have been pretty poor all race, or if this guy just wasn't paying attention, but we get a knock from behind. We had the position there, and we had the position on track. I don't know. I feel like it's up to him to not run into the back of us. We have cold tires. He should have known that, seeing us coming out from the pits. Instead, he just sticks right on the accelerator and knocks us off. So a couple of replays here just to show you what happened. I don't think I did anything wrong. Yes, I am on the cold tires, but I feel like I had position. I had every right to be there. And because of that, now we are easily passed by Julian Torres. Nothing we can do there. He's got DRS on us. We only have about 20% battery. I'm not going to waste it defending a position that I'm not going to win. So hopefully now we can just stick onto his gearbox and have him drag us around back up to the guys in P1 and P2. He is on the better tire at this point, and that's what I was hoping for, although I don't think it was, realistically I didn't think it was going to happen, just judging by the pace that he had in the first half of the race on the mediums. He was almost just as quick as us. But coming into this corner right now, I don't see this car. I thought it was ghosted out. It was semi-transparent, and then all of a sudden I drive up to it and we hit it. So we lose our front wing. So, and then this is the guy again. So he must have went off track again, because the game had him spun out in 2 different spots on track. This game is still a bit of a mess. I don't want to be too negative in these videos, but there's so many issues. So we had to pit for new tires and a new front wing. We caught up to this guy in P7 who's kind of all over the place. I assumed he was going to go deep here because he was really, really tight into the corner entry, which he does. So thank you very much. 4 seconds now to Millsy93 UK in front of us, and it shouldn't be too much of a problem to catch up to him. Just 1 lap later, we catch up to him on the final corner, and we have DRS and a little bit of battery. Not a lot of battery, but we do have a little bit of battery. And I don't know if this is another desync issue or if he was just trying to squeeze us out, but he does run into us quite a few times here on the start finish straight, but we do make that move stick and we move back up to P6, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, still having some issues with these online races. The connection issue, for one, I don't know why. Whatever it is, this is the only game that I have connection issues on. Every other game I have really good connection. I have fiber optic service into the apartment, really fast internet, and for some reason, I don't know if it's just the way EA runs their servers or their hosts in online lobbies, I always get that connection warning on the right hand side of the screen. So yeah, I don't know if that's to blame for a lot of the contact that we had today. Just watching the replay, I think the guy behind us after our pit stop just was a little bit too over optimistic and just knocked us off the track, but he eventually DNF'd himself. But that doesn't help us out. I suppose it gave us 1 position, but it doesn't really help us out. Golden Egg Fryer maintains the lead, and he ends up taking the win. We do get 1 more pass here on this guy. I don't know what happened to him. He must have just gone off himself. So we move up to P6 now, and starting P2, finishing, I mean, not P6, P5, starting P2 and ending P5 isn't all that great, but I don't think we could really help any of that. I do hope that EA and Cody's do make the online racing a little bit more palatable, one, by fixing whatever is causing these connection issues and ghosting back markers so that we don't have to deal with mobile chicanes for an entire lap after we pass them, or before we pass them, and then have to deal with them dive bombing down the inside when we do pass them. But anyway, guys, I figured since I do put up my good races, I might as well put up my bad races. And as you can see from the cam video, I'm not super happy here. A little disappointed. Like I said, I didn't want to get super angry just because I didn't know if it was just desync issues or not. I'm checking right now to see what the incidents were and to see if anybody got any penalties off of that, but didn't really find anything out. But anyway, that's it for this race, guys, our third ranked multiplayer race. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you think I've earned it, feel free to leave a like, comment, or subscribe. Stay tuned for more. Remember to eat bok choy. I'll see you guys in the next one.